Alright guys, well I'm back today with another high value firearm review and I am super excited about this one. It is a classic looking AK from Rally Defense. I have been searching and searching for a reasonably priced AK-47 with very specific features that I wasn't going to pass over. And that was mainly a forged bolt, carrier, and forged trunnion. A lot of USA made companies are using cast parts and they are failing under stress and round count. I wanted to find something that had the classic look of a traditional AK-47, was made in the USA, but that could actually last a very long time, but I also didn't want to spend $1,000. This one is impressive because it comes in under $600. Aim Surplus is a great supplier for this rifle, as well as a few others on the internet, and they also have a few different versions which we'll talk about later. Let's head down to the range one more time, run some rounds to this guy, come back and talk about the specs and features of this Rally Defense AK-47. Alright guys, well I'm back from the range and this thing performed beautifully. I'm about 200 rounds in since I've gotten this rifle, and overall I'm very impressed with its function. We'll talk about its reliability in a second. But this is mainly an overview of the features and initial impressions after those first shots. I'll update you guys after 500 and 1,000 rounds, as well as after I do some accuracy testing with some brass cased ammo. I've been mainly running some Wolf steel cased ammo, both hollow points and full metal jacket, with 100% function, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. When you pick up an AK-47, you want it to be reliable, and this Rally Defense AK was 100% reliable with that Wolf steel cased ammo. I will try other types of ammo in the future, but I'm really excited about the promising look and function of this rifle. I also talked about the classic looking furniture on this rifle. Aim Surplus currently has a second version that they're selling with black furniture, and I think there are some other options available online. I believe Atlantic Firearms has a few pistol versions, if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk about some of the other specs and features in a second, but overall this grouped pretty well today with the iron sights. Again, I didn't shoot it for accuracy, but what I've heard with some other manufacturers that shall remain nameless was some of the rifle build quality wasn't that great and you really have to drift the sights. So that's one of the first things I wanted to check on this USA made AK, and it was right on. About 25 yards, there was no shift in impact left or right. You just had to adjust the elevation a little bit for the yardage that you were shooting at. So overall, this guy came in straight. It worked with the first 200 rounds with no oil or anything, you know, just dumping the mags through it. And overall, the build quality seems really good. Now let's talk about some features of this AK-47 that really set it apart from some others on the market in this price category. And one of the cool things about this is it includes the scope mount. Some of the cheaper AKs don't include it, and not only is it included, but it's a CNC scope mount at a one solid piece of metal instead of cast, which lends to durability, reliability, and just overall more accurate than a cast part. So that is a nice touch. This also has an extended mag release, which is really easy to actuate, especially if you're doing those speed reloads with the AK mag. Something like that is very nice. The AK mags locked up very solid. The main ones I was using was the Tapco mags. I think I used a clear IO mag and a few steel surplus mags. All of them work great with those first 200 rounds. I will continue to try different types of magazines, including the Magpul ones in the future, with different types of ammo. But everything locked in and fed great. There was no issues whatsoever when it comes to that front. The cool thing about this AK is it comes with a few little upgrades that you want to see, but it doesn't change the look of that traditional AK-47 rifle. What you're looking at here is the extended bolt release and slide hold open and safety all rolled into one. Now, normally an AK-47 just has a safety, but this actually has a cutout right here to grab onto the charging handle of the AK-47 to lock it back, which is a nice touch when you're at the range and the range officers want to see your chamber open and maybe a chamber flag in there. The other cool thing is it's got this lip that you can use, like I just did, to drop that bolt home, which is a very cool option. Speaking about the bolt, and I already mentioned it, this is actually a forged carrier, bolt, and front trunnion. Again, a lot of US companies were using cast parts. Now, when you cast a part, you're pouring molten metal into sort of a mold. And when you're doing that, you're really messing with the grain structure of the material, and it causes the material to deform over time. Now, when you're using a forged part, that metal is pounded in, and it is an incredibly impressive grain structure. It costs more, and that's why companies try to avoid it. So it's very nice to see that all of these parts are actually forged, but it still comes in at under the $600 price point. Another thing with AKs is you want to see the build quality, and you can see the rivets themselves are pressed in beautifully. Had some AKs in the past from manufacturers I'm not going to name that I've sold where the rivets were literally crooked. Now, it still functioned fine, maybe 1,000, 2,000 rounds in, but I hate to see something like that in an AK-47, so it's nice to see the rivets are placed in there correctly. That is pretty cool. The barrel itself is actually 4150 steel, and it is nitrided for a long-lasting barrel. Again, they didn't skimp and go with the 4140 steel. They went with a little bit harder steel, which is going to give you a longer barrel life. The threads are a traditional thread pitch, and it comes with a cleaning rod. So overall, just a very high quality barrel that is put into this AK-47. The wood on this AK-47 is that teak wood, and it is beautiful in my opinion. It really looks like an old school AK. Now, can you get some with nicer furniture? I'm sure you can, but something like this is just a classic looking AK-47, and I just love the way it looks. Now, when you're talking about the internals of an AK-47, a lot of times people are going to look for the deformation and wear inside an AK. This one actually has a Tapco G2 trigger, which works really well. I've had no issues with this AK-47 whatsoever. What I want to show you guys is actually the tail deformation. A lot of people look at that. And this particular one does not have any tail deformation yet anyways. You will get tail deformation on an AK-47 over time, but when the guys are using all these forged parts, it's just holding up very well. So very impressed. Also, I'm trying to show you guys, I don't know if you can see it or not. Inside here, normally there is a wire spring, but these guys use the metal plate to hold in all the trigger pins. So another nice touch about Rally Defense. So in summary, guys, if you're looking for an AK-47 that is going to work and last a long time, but is not going to break the bank, check out Rally Defense and check out Aim Surplus. Occasionally, these guys are always having sales on a lot of their products, so you never know what kind of deals you can find. There are, again, also a few other distributors online that are selling these products. I also want to give a huge shout out to Aim Surplus for all the time just helping out the channel by giving us a lot of ammo at cost. When they give us that ammo at cost, it knocks the price down a few quarters. And honestly, you guys would be shocked at what they're paying and what they're selling. They are not making much, and that is why I like Aim Surplus. They are not gouging their customers. They're really giving you guys a great deal, and I've been buying ammo from them way before YouTube, and it is just a great company to deal with. I will keep you updated on the performance of this AK-47 in the future because I'm really impressed with it. And if all goes well, I'm hoping to grab another one, maybe a pistol version. I'm not quite sure, but I will let you guys know how this one goes. Hope this gives you another high value option to add to your collection. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.